welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. Today we're going over Lucifer's plan in Black Clover. Now get ready fellas and gals, because I'm putting on my game face for this one. Because not only am I covering how Asta's swords may have been created, but I am also uncovering hidden secrets that Tabata has left for us to discover regarding the King of Demons.
It's showtime!
Now, those that have the notification button on for the channel, you would know that I have extensively covered the theme of history repeating itself in Black Clover, as the Light Triad, who are Asta, Yuna and Noelle, are experiencing events in their lives much like the mages of the past. However, this time round, they will succeed by breaking the mold, which will result in society changing for the greater good, just as Julius, the current Wizard King, is hoping for. This is an important fact to mention, because we know the devil invasion that Lucifero is orchestrating with the Dark Triad is also part of this theme. Dante being a simp for him has been repeated in the past. This is because in chapter 252, the devils were released from hell 700 to 1200 years ago, which another Heart Queen fought against. And obviously the continent won since the devil was sealed once again in that time. This ancient devil invasion is the reason why Lola Pachika can actually have wisdom, as she was shown to read the history books of the past Heart Queens regarding how and why it happened. In chapter 279, Morris extracted all the knowledge from Lola Pachika regarding the ritual of opening Hell's Gate and eventually becoming the catalyst to speed up the process. We still do not know how Zagrid was out and about 500 years ago, but Dorothy states in chapter 222 that devils coming into the world of the living is abnormal, which can't happen in normal circumstances. Lucifer mentioned that Zagrid is a high-ranking devil, and we recently learned that the royal family of the Spade Nation were protecting massive demons that were formerly two royal brothers, as humans can become devils too, which insinuates that the other ancient races such as Elves and Dwarves could have possibly become devils too, as they are a reflection of oneself. Chapter 281 explains that demons come into existence through the negative emotions of humans as well as the power of the underworld. Now, for me to break things down on where Asta's swords came from and who created them, I first have to explain all the events from the previous devil invasion that somehow connects to Lucifer and the events currently unfolding. Firstly, the most obvious factor you probably didn't think about is the certainty that two ancient mages must have existed with dark magic and tree magic just like William and Yami for the ritual to take place at that time as well. This is how Lucifero would have gained the knowledge on how to conduct the ritual and open Hell's Gate in the first place. If it wasn't the exact same ritual, then how is Morris using the exact same information from the ancient queen knowledge that Lola Pachika gained and applied that same knowledge to the ritual of modern times as a catalyst to speed up the process? This means Lucifer figured out the previous devil invasion and went on to inform this to the Dark Triad to use them as his pawns. Dante is a complete simp for him and being used and abused. My man's a bitch. He tries to mention trash on top of that. Yeah, I said it. He looks like a green goblin looking ass. Now, Lucifer, the king of demons, he would then come to the same conclusion that you're probably thinking right now. I need world tree magic and dark magic to open Hell's Gate just like the previous ancient invasion. Therefore, Lucifero must have had a hand to play and orchestrated for William and Yami to have the lives unfold the way it did. The evidence for this comes from Asta's mother's backstory, as Lucifer tried to unleash himself through taking over Libe's body, the anti-magic demon, and using Libe's body to enact his plan. However, Asta's mother, Lisita, drained his magic and stopped him from doing so. Lucifer then declared that he will find a way to get his revenge and come out of hell through another method of manipulation. From this moment, we learn that Lucifero has the power to take over any devil of lower rank, even the ones that are roaming the world, as he says that he can interfere with any devil of lower rank whenever he wills it. On top of that, he is somewhat omniscient, as he was searching throughout the world, witnessing key events. As he stated, he does this when he is bored, and he can see through the other demons, right? So as a result, this provides us with the evidence that Lucifer has the power and means to interfere with William's and Yami's life to unlock Hell's Gate once again. Hopefully you're still with me here and you haven't completely lost the plot, because my bossy prediction magic is going on overdrive at this moment, I'm telling ya. But listen, if we take a look at William Vengeance, his mother's clan, stated by Pathri back in chapter 143, was cursed, and his scar is definitely from the other world, as Yami received a similar marking from Zagrid in chapter 203. We also found out that Charlotte's curse is linked to demons too, as all curses deviate from Meducula, as Meducula is the parent of all curses. So that would indicate that William might have purposely been made into a vessel for the Tree of Qliphoth that unlocks Hell's Gate. The same case can be applied to Yami. Yami reached the Clover continent around the same year as Asta's mother Lysita being killed by Lucifer. Let's not forget that we know Grimoire are connected to one soul, and their magic type is predetermined. On top of that, we know the chance for Lucifer to enact a plan came about when in chapter 47 Yami from Japan somehow, my dude, my G, the only man I ever simp for, he got isekai to the Clover Kingdom. One day whilst he was fishing by himself, Yami shipwrecks and washes ashore in the Clover Kingdom, and if we look at chapter 47 in detail, Yami looks around 12 years old. Currently he is 28, so the chronological timeline of Black Clover still makes sense that Yami must have come to the Clover Kingdom around the time Lucifer failed to take over Libe and made his promise to come into the human realm, and he killed Asta's mother, right? All of these factors cannot simply be a coincidence, mate. So as we have seen thus far in Black Clover, Asta, Yuno and Noelle's lives are interconnected with one another, with their past catching up to them. We also see this theme continued with William, Julius Novachrono and Yami. Unless, you know, my friend Tabata, he watches this video and says, you know what? I'ma scrap this whole plotline. Oh my god! Why is this dude's bullshit prediction magic so strong? He's fucking up my story! Oh my god. Tabata must seriously be watching the videos, I'm telling you, bruh.
Y'all killing me with this.
By the way, everyone, please can you smash the like button for the video, ding the notification bell for the channel, fam. Black Clover anime is ending in 4 episodes, and I know you're all worried, oh my god, where am I gonna get Black Clover content? Is Anime Balls Deep gonna still cover the manga on a weekly basis? Bruh, I got you, fam. However, I still need your support. We need to stick together, and I want to thank every single one of you that have bought our clothing. Shout out to you for sharing your mana with the community that we have built and making me still have the means to keep doing this. So thank you very much.
Damn, that shit good.
Alright, now for me to explain the part where Asta's swords came from, I need to get everyone on the same page. To truly understand the plot and lore, we need to look back at what happened in the previous devil invasion, as it is essential to the story's future. Although Tabata hasn't explicitly shown or stated anything about the first devil invasion, other than the fact that it happened, he has still left clues for us to find and understand the story better. You guys must have wondered, wait, Anime Balls Deep, how did the mages defeat the first devil invasion if the devils are so overpowered? Well, Nark's statement has been confirmed that the high-ranked devils are way beyond the Dark Triad in power, as we witness Nama and Lilith, right? So I will need to prove that just like in the modern age, the people of the past had to unite to seal the underworld. The ancient races of the past were dwarves, humans, and elves, if not even more races that haven't been mentioned yet. Barvel explains in chapter 182 that the ancient elves had a contract with the humans. The Shadow Palace is another gate to the underworld, as Raya states within the same chapter. Barvel explains that the ancient elves entrusted this seal to the humans when only the elves could open it. This means that the elves and humans were originally not just in contact with the elves, but also on very good terms in an alliance. Remember, Barvel and Raya are the elves from 500 years ago, calling other elves ancient, even more so than themselves, which proves that they are talking reading about the elves that must have fought in the last war against the demons. Using basic logic, the only reason the humans would have a literal gateway to hell in their kingdom is because they either wanted to originally summon the devils, or the most obvious answer, that it's the location of where the ancient races sealed the underworld and all the devils from the past invasion. During this arc and saga, I would be thrilled but not surprised if we got a flashback to the first devil invasion where we get to see what truly went down, just like how it was back during the Alpha. Another key to this theory are the dungeons that are introduced to us in the early parts of the Black Clover series. Dungeons are stated by Magna in chapter 11, ancient tombs left behind by an old civilization. Dungeons contain methods for magic, as Magna says it. This could be referring to mana methods, aka runes, as we see the dungeon that Asta and the others visit containing traps using these runes, the very same ones that Zara and Zora use, establishing a connection between the Heart Kingdom and the Clover Kingdom, proving they used to be united at one point of time, which is why Lola Pichica states in chapter 228 that the Clover Kingdom deviated from natural magic, meaning at some point of time the Clover Kingdom mages did have the blessing of natural mana just like them, but since the foundation of the kingdom, things had changed. Now again, in chapter 11, Yami does mention mages being able to use ultimate magic after looting one of these dungeons, and this is mentioned once again in chapter 265 with Noelle talking to the elves to learn. Although the Japanese is not the same for these two instances, this still might have been Tabata's original idea to somehow interweave the story of the elves and the humans. The demon dweller sword that Asta possesses was found within the dungeon at chapter 18. An elven sword being in an ancient human dungeon makes little sense unless they were in contact with one another. At this point of the video, there's no way you can argue that the humans and elves were not in contact before Lumiere met up with Lick. All of the evidence points towards the ancient elves and the ancient humans working together to seal the underworld and bestow upon the world an era of peace. Now, for me to explain where Asta's swords were created, it's time for me to talk about the dwarves now. From the very little we know about dwarves, we can already discern that they have been in contact with ancient humans as well. Charmy is a dwarf-human hybrid, meaning a human went balls deep into a dwarf, or the other way round. Charmy already confirms that humans and dwarves have existed alongside each other. But what's more interesting is that Mimosa recognized that Charmy was a dwarf back in chapter 194, saying that an elderly manservant had told her the tales of their existence. This clearly means that there was a point of time for humans to record the existence of dwarves, and no other time would serve it best than the first ancient devil invasion. This is because we know for a fact that humans have lost their history whilst the ancient elves like Licht and Raya did not. Please keep in mind that the elves from 500 years ago knew what devils were immediately, whilst humans did not know in the modern age. However, 500 years ago, the first wizard king Lumiere, he proves that with the development of the Clover Kingdom and a peaceful era, the humans, they actually stopped bothering learning of the existence of devils, unlike the elves. This is because Lumiere was different, and he said he read history books in chapter 204 that told him of the devil's existence. This is when he saw Zagrid for the first time. The most interesting thing that stands out to me is that when Charmy reveals she is half dwarf, somehow an ancient 500-year-old elf in real knew about the existence of hybrids between two races, which yet again explains to us that the ancient dwarfs, humans and elves were working together in peace. How the hell is a 500-year-old elf and a modern day human named Mimosa in possession of the exact same information regarding dwarves otherwise? This once again points towards an event that must have occurred in the past that would let them know of the existence: the first devil invasion. Now come on now, I know I've blown your mind at this point of the video. Make sure to smash that like button, bro. I want at least 30,000 likes up in this bitch if you want me to keep making Black Clover content, you know what I'm saying? But basically, as we all know, the elves are blessed by mana and were eventually worshipped by humans like gods, meaning that knowledge was surely lost between the very ancient races that united to defeat the devil invasion. As I mentioned earlier, the book that Lumiere read was most likely created by ancient humans who fought in that war. But since peace had occurred, eventually the royalty only cared about self-interest, as we saw this evident through them being manipulated by the devil Zagrid so easily. Looking at the recent chapters, with the modern day countries and mages uniting to defeat the devils that have invaded, it's pretty obvious history has repeated itself in some way. The devils are extremely overpowered once Hell's Gate is open, and can take over the world if this alliance didn't occur. This further implies that the ancient races must have had an alliance as well. Dwarves were another race separate from the elves, who lived in the distant past and had unique skills according to Black Clover. Now in literature, dwarves favor axes as weapons, but compared with other races, dwarves have embraced technology and use a variety of weapons that are more advanced than others of the ancient races. Dwarves are remarkable at craftsmanship in their weaponry. This gives us an idea of where the concept of Licht swords also came from. Now as a community, we are all scratching our heads on why are they specifically called the Demon Slayer sword, the Demon Destroyer sword, and Demon Dweller sword. That seems awfully pretty specific, but that would make sense if the magic was created during the first devil invasion. We know Licht had knowledge of the existence of devils before humans did, and it's likely that this knowledge got passed down from the previous invasion. If the elves do have longer lifespans as they traditionally do in literature, it would explain why such ancient information is not as equally as forgotten compared to humans. I believe that in this concrete theory that I have created, where Tabata can decide to take the story, that ancient dwarves and humans worked with the elves in their unification to harness their power that can withhold their mana that they are blessed with. Elves have enough mana and power to actually destroy devils in one attack. Just look at how we witnessed Licht try this so easily against Zagrid, who is a high-ranking devil. This all makes sense because the Heart Queen mentioned in chapter 228 that the Clover Kingdom magic is innovated due to deviating from natural magic. She states the Clover Kingdom has created types of magic that are not natural, such as chain and steel and eccentric spatial magic. As a result, some irregular arcane users who were born in that environment have the potential to defeat a devil. So this proves that the sword magic Licht had was inherited from his ancestors that used their magic and blessed mana in such a manner that innovated it into sword magic with the help of humans and dwarves to defeat the devils from the previous invasion. The ancient people didn't have Asta and his overpowered anti-magic because Libe only created that recently. The modern mages made Asta the central point of their plan for a reason. The ancient races would also think of a plan, and this would have involved the swords that Asta wields. The dwarves would have created these swords for the elves to use their Aeon magic by connecting to the humans and others to create a massive final blow to weaken the devils enough to start sealing them away. Remember, Licht mentioned to us that the swords are connected to people in some way, and he was trying to teach Asta how to wield them properly. They can even transmit information and magic to allies, which will be so helpful in a war. This was revealed to us in chapter 207, 210, and 213. When he used the Demon Dweller sword conquering Aeon, we are told it absorbed the magic of their allies. This means that if the dwarves did create them for the purpose of their alliance to connect one country and destroy the demons of the past, it would result in the power Licht used against Zagrid and the magic powers that Asta possesses now whilst wielding those swords. So that's pretty much it. I just proved all the evidence that the ancient races must have had an alliance, gave secret information regarding Lucifer and the previous devil invasion, and I spoiled the entire Black Clover story on what Tabata's planning. I'm sorry, Tabata. I know you hate it when I do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please let me know what you think of my analysis in the comments. How likely do you think this will come true? Also, remember to hit the notification bell and like the video, join our Discord, buy our merch, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time.